Okay, Assalamualaikum and a good afternoon to all presenters and participants. Okay, welcome to the second parallel session. I'm Dr. Izlina and I'll be your MC for this session. Okay, for this session, we are going to have 4 presentations coming from different topics in STEM from different backgrounds. Okay, so for each presentation, they are allocated 15 minutes and 5 minutes for the question and answer session. Okay, so to all presenters, this is the hot news now. To all presenters, for your information, the STEM committee has agreed to acknowledge the 3 best presenters from the 12 presenters in all of the 4 parallel session. So the acknowledgement will inform the presenters through email. Okay, so for this session, our first presenter is Mr. Rajakumar Ramachandran from the Malacca Matriculation College, and the title of his presentation is Development and Effectiveness of COPS Board Game in Learning Organic Chemistry Synthetic Pathways among Matriculation Students. So without wasting precious time, let me invite Mr. Ramachandran to give his presentation. Please be invited, Mr. Ramachandran.
Hi, good afternoon, dear chairperson. Can you hear me?
Yes. Clear.
Clear, all right. Okay, okay. Good afternoon again to the dear chairperson, and thank you very much for inviting me. And good afternoon to all the dear presenters as well. So I will share my screen. Can my screen be viewed by everyone?
In the process.
Oh, okay. Is the screen available, doctor?
I still can't see your presentation.
Just
Can
a
our
moment.
technical team help out?
Because I share the screen, I'm presenting through my iPad, so I'm sharing the screen.
Oh, I can't see your presentation yet.
Oh, okay.
Can you unshare and share
All
it
the other audience.
again?
Okay, I try again, doctor. Okay, just a moment. Can see the screen now?
Yeah, I can see.
Is it clear, doctor?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, shall I start?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, all right. So thanks and good afternoon again to everyone. My name is Rajakumar Ramachandran, and my co-author, Dr. Muhammad Ibrahim bin Dr. Bin Muhammad Aman Novi. We are going to present, I'm going to present on behalf of my co-author as well. The title of my article is Development and Effectiveness of COPS Board Game in Learning Organic Chemistry Synthetic Pathways Among Matriculation Students. Okay, this is overview of my presentation, consists of few sections. I will start with the abstract first. So this study is aimed to investigate the development and effectiveness of an educational board game in learning synthetic pathways at matriculation level. The need analysis survey and previous literatures prove synthetic pathways can be taught using game-based learning approach. The validity coefficient of the game calculated at 90.67% of agreement from panel of experts. The reliability coefficient recorded at 0.993 during the pilot study. And on another questionnaire, that is students' perception questionnaire, all the constructs, there are 5 constructs in the perception questionnaire, all the constructs scores high mean score. Apart from this, quasi-experimental study was also conducted to study on the effectiveness of the board game. And there was a significant difference in the mean score achievement in the post-test between the treatment group that used the game and the control group which studied the synthetic pathways using conventional method. Okay, so what is synthetic pathways? Maybe those who are not from the chemistry background, not sure about the synthetic pathways. Synthetic pathways is a series of individual chemical reactions connected to become a longer route. So as you can see in the diagram on my slide now, these are connection of two individual reactions. So on the left-hand side of the equation, we identify them as a reactant. On top of the arrow, it known as chemical reagent and physical condition, while on the right-hand side of the equation, it known as the product. And when they are connected in a longer route or longer series, then it's known as synthetic pathways. So through this game, I'm going to teach the students to claim a longer synthetic pathways using individual reactions. Okay. Oh, sorry. All right. These are the example of questions asked involving synthetic pathways concept in final exam. So as you all can see, the popular question I already put in a box, in a red color box. These are the common and very frequent questions asked in matriculation final exam. And all these questions are very much related to the concept of synthetic pathways, which I introduced in my game. So for example of the questions, they asked to write the chemical equation, they asked to state the reagents used for the reaction, they asked to deduce the structures, and they asked to propose how to synthesize an organic compound from another compound. So all these are included in the synthetic pathways concept. Okay, problem statement of my research. Matriculation students does not perform well in semester 2 compared to semester 1, according to Othman and Talib 2015. Students face problems in solving advanced organic synthesis questions, especially interlinked retrosynthetic questions, according to Carney 2015. Students fail to choose correct chemical reagents and proper physical parameters to convert one organic compound to another one, according to Triboni and Weber 2018. Students found it hard to plan synthetic pathways, Teixeira and Allman 2008. And students struggle with planning synthetic pathways due to large amount of organic reactions need to be memorized, according to Farmer and Shukman 2016. Okay, so the solution proposed is GBL or game-based learning. So why GBL? Games in Chemistry Classroom provided engaging and alternative method of instruction. It helped build social skills and motivation and improve learners' attitudes. Educational games during organic chemistry lesson demand problem-solving skills and realistic practice. As well, games brought sense of achievement among the learners. And why I choose board game? Particularly because it improved cognitive learning and critical thinking of the learners, provide learners with experience to draw knowledge, created social nature of the game that allows students to learn in cooperative scenario, build leisure activities filled with challenges, and more importantly, or most importantly, requirement to prepare the board game, the time and the energy is not much required because you save a lot of time preparing a simple board game. This is a result of my needs analysis. 91.4% of chemistry educators think game-based learning approach suitable in teaching synthetic pathways of organic chemistry reaction, while 88.6% of chemistry educators require or have intention to use game-based learning approach in their organic chemistry lesson. For the audience's information, I use the survey among 36 chemistry educators from Form 6 and matriculation as well. And the open-ended question, the response I get, some of them, GBL is an interesting, fun, and competitive way of learning synthetic pathways. GBL could help learners to plan pathways and execute their strategies in organic synthesis reaction. Now we come to the most important part, the research objective. What is the research objective? Evaluate the validity of COPSPOT game, evaluate reliability of the COPSPOT game, evaluate students' perception on goals, board design, board organization, playability and usability of COPSPOT game, compare the organic chemistry synthetic pathways completion achievement between students who used COPSPOT game and those who used conventional method. Therefore, the research questions were, what is the validity coefficient of the COPSPOT game? What is the reliability coefficient of the COPSPOT game? What is the student's perception mean score on goals, board design, board organization, playability and usability of COPSPOT game? What is the difference between the mean score of the treatment and control group students' performance in synthetic pathways before any intervention is given in learning organic chemistry? While research question number 5, what is the difference between mean score of the treatment group students' performance in synthetic pathways after COPSPOT game played and the control group students' performance in synthetic pathways after conventional method used in learning organic chemistry? Research question number 6, Is there any significant difference in the mean score of the treatment group students' performance before and after COPS board game used in learning organic chemistry synthetic pathways? And the last question, is there any significant difference in the mean score of control group students' performance before and after conventional method in learning organic chemistry synthetic pathways? Now we look at the methodology. First, population. The population will be 2-semester, system 2-semester science students from 15 matriculation colleges in session 2020-21 across Malaysia. Sampling was done using 2-stage cluster sampling. 16 practicum classes were chosen from 70 total classes. It made 105 respondents on perception survey, while 30 respondents used for pilot study and 30 respondents was used for quasi-experimental study. The research design used RD model for development, quasi-experiment for effectiveness. So under RD model, we have 5 stages or 5 phases. The first phase, analysis, target users analysis, instructional goal analysis, instructional analysis, instructional objectional analysis, and curriculum and content analysis were done under analysis phase, together with the need analysis. Under the design phase, game was designed, the content was designed, the materials used in developing the game were also designed here. More importantly, under the design phase, I designed the game rules, the gameplay, the learning activities, and the assessments to be integrated into the game. The third one is the development. Under the development, lesson plan for the particular class were generated, and then together with the supporting media, and more importantly, under the development, I also designed and developed the teacher's guidance manual, which consists of game rules and gameplays, learning activities, and assessments. Also, same goes to the student's guidance manual. It's just that the difference between teacher's guidance manual and student's guidance manual is the student's guidance manual only consists of questions without any answers. This is for the teacher to conduct the COPS board game in the class and the assessment. And also under the development stage, pilot study was conducted to determine the reliability. Finally, the fourth stage is the implementation, where I use the facilitator plan and learner plan. These plans are basically to train the students and train the teachers with the game. This is 3 weeks before the real study conducted. And finally, the evaluation phase, where the perception among the users were collected and gathered and analyzed, and the performance is measured using the quasi-experimental study. Now we look at the research procedure. The research procedure is simplified here. First step, literature review and need analysis survey was done. Literature review done to find the research gap. Needs analysis survey to find the necessity of GBL in organic chemistry. Second stage, development of the game and also the research instruments. I used 3 research instruments in this study. And then next step is validation of research instruments. This is done by 3 experts, consists of education experts. And then after the feedback from the researchers, the experts, especially on the open-ended question, I improvised the research instruments and then validation of the COPS board game. This is done by another 5 different experts, consists of game expert and education expert. After that, pilot study was conducted. And then after pilot study, in the real study, apart from collecting the perception, I also conducted quasi-experimental study using treatment group and control group. I did pre-test and post-test. And finally, the data collected from the real study was analyzed in the last stage. These are my data analysis. The summary of COPS board game validity coefficient. As everyone can see here, the construct consists of the questionnaire consists of 3 constructs: content knowledge, pedagogical knowledge, and technological knowledge. This is from TPEC model. And under content knowledge, I got 92% of agreement. Pedagogical knowledge, 86% of agreement. And all the other technological knowledge, as audience can see, is very high, approximately exceeding 90% of agreement. And overall percent of agreement is exceed 90%. And then reliability, as everyone can see here, I have 16 items under reliability, and averagely is 0.993, which is very high level of reliability. because any value greater than 0.7 is considered as very high reliability. All these statements under the items are regarding the activities in the game. So if the students can give a very high value for the reliability coefficient, that means the activities in the game has helped them to learn the organic chemistry synthetic pathways using game concept. Next is students' perception. So this one divided into the 5 construct. The first one, goals. So we look at the mean score. The mean score for all these items under this construct is greater than 4. In fact, according to Jamil Ahmad 2012, if it's greater than 3.68, is considered very high value for the mean. And averagely for the goals, the score was 4.46. Here I would like to insist on the highest score, that is 4.50. Corpse board game encourages discussion on organic chemistry among my classmates. That means students or the participants of the survey do agree that Corpse board game encourage them to discuss about the organic chemistry concept apart from just playing the game. Next, the second construct is board design. This is basically about the board, the components of the game, especially the board. And here also we can see the colors used. The size of the board is the only problem over here, because some of the students disagree with the size of the board. They say the board is not big enough for them to plan the synthetic pathway. So for the future research, I plan to make the board slightly bigger than the current. The current size is A3. However, the experts do agree with the size. Only the students find it very difficult. Apart from that, the other elements in the game, in the board, were totally agreed by them. Colors, the words printed, the structure used, the diagram used, all are very clear for them. Next is board organization, the third construct. So audience can see this is also very high value of 4.31. Here I would like to draw attention of everyone, especially on the time provided and item number 19 and as well as item number 16. This both item number 19, time provided to play the Corpse board game is reasonable because I use the game in 2 modes. One is the tutorial mode, which is for 60 minutes. Another one I use for the practical class, which is 120 minutes. So they can play longer in the lab class compared to tutorial class, or they can alternate the option between these two. So if let's say they want to learn a minimum reaction, then we go to the tutorial class. And if they want to expand the knowledge and learn more reaction, then I go to the lab class. And then instruction provided in the board game were easily understood, including the game rules. If the student couldn't understand the game rules, then it would be very difficult to play the game. However, because the language used in the game manual was very simple, they can even play the game outside the classroom by just using the game manual or the game flowchart. Next construct is playability. Here also the value is very high, and this is actually the ultimate objective why I developed the board game. Item number 25 and 26. Corpse board game make learning organic chemistry interesting and fun, and the value is very, very high, 4.53 and 4.51 respectively. This shows Corpse board game has turned the board organic chemistry, because according to the literature reviews that I studied and I analyzed, most of the undergraduate students at A level, they perceive organic chemistry as a very boring classroom. So through inculcating of the game-based learning approach, the fun and the excitement of learning could be triggered among the students. That's why I developed this game. And from the perception survey, we can see this was agreed collectively by the students by scoring a very high mean score on item 25 and 26. And the last is usability. Usability is all about participating in this game and the usefulness of the Corpse board game. And here also we can see the values is very high. For example, item 36, not only they want to play Corpse board game among their classmates, they want to introduce that to their peers as well. That's why some of my students even borrowed the game and they went to their hostel room and they played with their other friends. And another thing I would like to highlight here is participating in Corpse board game increase my social skills, because they use cooperative and collaborative learning over here. And that also indirectly affects the item 32, the motivation of the participants in the game. Corpse board game has tremendously increased their motivation in learning synthetic pathways. Normally, when we use conventional method, we can see students fall asleep, do not pay attention. But when they play the game, they not only play the game, they learn in the fun way. Now we go to
Mr.
the quasi
Ramachandran,
experiment. Yes.
may I interrupt? There's your 50 minutes is nearly over. I think
Okay.
we have to percepatkan
Okay, no
sedikit.
problem. Okay, okay. So I just show the result for the quasi experimental, doctor. Okay, this is my analysis of pre-score test of treatment and control group. I just want to tell the conclusion over here. We can see the p-value I got is greater than 0.05. That means there is no significant difference in score for treatment and control group before the intervention. However, when I did the intervention, we can see the p-value is less than 0.05. That means there is a significant difference when the game was introduced between treatment and control group. This is measured from the test given to them, the post-test. The pre-test shows there's no difference. The post-test shows there is a difference. Okay, and then the last two, the paired sample t-test, this shows that the p-value calculated is less than 0.05. So the conclusion is there is a significant difference between mean score of the pre-test and post-test of treatment group after they play the corpse board game. Even the mean also shows that 1.53 become 4.67. And finally, the paired sample t-test for the the value obtained, the p-value is 0.073, which is greater. That means there is no significant value using the convention method. They still remain the same, although the mean slightly increased, but there is no effect using the conventional method. So corpse board game definitely effective in transferring the knowledge of organic chemistry, in my opinion, and the data proves that. And last part is discussion. Student claim corpboard game created fun and happy learning environment whereby it allows students to discuss and solve the chemical routes on the reaction board. All the chemical reaction can be seen clearly. And corpse board game rule were fair and provided each player of equal chance of succeeding, and there is no failure in the game. Everyone get the same opportunity, and it helps students to learn the organic chemistry effectively. Thank you, doctor.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ramachandran, for a very
Yeah.
informative presentation. Okay, we have about 2-3 minutes for our first Q&A session. Okay,
Okay.
to all, reminder to all participants from this session, would you kindly please raise your hand to pose your question so that the technical team can unmute you? Okay, is there any question from the floor for Mr. Ramachandran? We have a question from Dr. Faridah Sonsudain.
Yeah, doctor.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rajakumar, for your very nice presentation.
Thank
Okay,
you, doctor.
I'm agree with you that study organic chemistry is difficult to most of the students. Can
Yeah.
you share with us what is the most important point that teacher has to look at when they want to use this board game method? Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, doctor. From my experience, the most important thing is the interest in learning organic chemistry. In matriculation, sorry, at matriculation level, the students normally when they go for physical chemistry in semester one, they are very interested in learning because the physical chemistry mostly involves calculation. So they only use calculator, they calculate, there's less of a theoretical knowledge over there. However, when we come to organic chemistry, most of the knowledge is about theoretical knowledge. So when they come to theoretical knowledge, when we start to give our lecture, our tutorial in front there, in front of the class, they fall asleep. One thing because they find it organic chemistry is very boring. So I felt because I've been teaching in metric for past 16 years, and every time we do this class, we have this problem. So what I did initially was I was using mind map, and then mind map to certain extent it was good, but when we go to afternoon classes, they feel very boring. So what I did is I tried to develop this game. So I want to introduce game so that they become very interested in learning while they play. So I want them to become excited in the class, not feel asleep or bored like that. That is the reason why I choose the game-based approach, because I see them, I introduce the game, 2 years ago, when I started this game 2 years ago, I find the class become very interesting. They can perform definitely better than previous. So for me, the Cop Sport game triggered their interest and made them coming to the class, organic class, very fun. That is the only idea, Doctor.
Thank you.
Okay, we have another question from Miss Tan Lee Wei.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Kumar, Raja
Doctor.
Kumar. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have a question. May I know that what types of technology application you are using to develop these board games? And also, is it these board games the students can use it, can learn it anytime, anywhere? Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Doctor. In terms of technology, Doctor, this is not digital game. This is a non-digital game. So there is no exactly like fantasy element or technological element over here. Because from my literature understanding, technology can be as simple as paper and pencil. So we can use a paper and pencil to create a technology. So in terms of technology, there is no specific or latest software introduced in this game because it's totally non-digital game. However, when Doctor asked about how to use this game, I have two additional documents for the students inside the kit, inside the game kit. One is called game manual. Another one is game flowchart. So let's say when they read the game flowchart, game manual, they couldn't understand. Normally they will understand because I use that in pilot study. It's a very simple English. But let's say if they can't understand also, I give them a game flowchart. The game flowchart will tell the game mechanics and simple gameplay. So when they have these two documents, they can borrow this game and go to their hostel room. They can play with their friends. In fact, I had 2 or 3 students previously from the previous batch had borrowed this one and used in their class, their hostel room. They find it very interesting. But most importantly, they can understand how to play the game because the game rules was very simple. So they can play outside the classroom, no problem.
Okay, thank you for the answer, Mr. Ramachandran. There's another question from Dr. Mazdira.
Yeah, sure, Doctor.
Okay, hello, hi, Dr. Ramachandran. That this game is interesting to engage the students, yeah.
Yeah,
But may
Doctor.
I know the time allocated for the game, number one, and number two, may I know how do you handle this game when we are now under pandemic situation? Thank you.
Yeah, Doctor. All right. Actually, Doctor, I initiated the project 2018, couple of years back. So that time there was no pandemic over. So I
Okay.
don't have the problem of conducting the game. Okay, about time, Doctor. The lesson plan I generated is for 45 minutes, 1 hour period, the tutorial class. But it can be extended to the 2 hours also, no problem. Because this game consists of multi-level. I have beginner, I have amateur, and I have professional. The beginner level used for the 1 hour tutorial classroom. If let's say I go for practical class, which is 2 hours, I can extend the game to the amateur and professional level. So it depends on which mode we want to conduct the game. However, to answer the doctor's question about pandemic, this batch, the current batch who left metric 2 weeks ago, they were quarantined in the college for 6 months. So there's no problem conducting the game physically. But say I
Okay.
want
So
the
I mean
game outside of
they
the
still
classroom.
can use the game. Okay.
Yes, can. The only problem I understand is if let's say I want to bring this outside of the now pandemic zone, then I have to I have to convert it to the digital game. Yes, Doctor.
Exactly. Exactly. And
But
how many?
unfortunately, I don't have the knowledge of digital knowledge to convert it into digital.
You can develop that. You can develop
Yes,
that.
can, Doctor.
Yes. And per board, how many the number of students per board?
4 students, 3 to 4 students can.
Okay, so means that you must have many groups in order for all of them to
Yeah,
participate for the game.
yes. My class consists of 20 students. So I divide them into 4. Each group, each table. This is a tabletop game. So each table will have 4 players or 3 players and 1 game master. So I developed. So far, I have 4 set of game.
It's very interesting. It would be nice if you can
So I
show
can
us
use for 1 class.
some pictures of the activity.
Some pictures. I just a moment. I try to share. right, doctor? Whether I see
Yeah,
my
we
telegram
want
have
to
or not?
know how does the board looks like, the colors,
Okay, okay. Just a
how
moment,
do
doctor.
they behave when they do the activities. Uh, Dr. Isla, is it allowed
Yes.
to extend it a bit?
It's okay.
This doctor can see the this is can see the diagram.
Yeah, we can see it.
These students, but this is a simple prototype. The one Dr. see now is the original prototype I developed in at year 2018. The latest one is much better. Wait, I try to look for that. This is how the board looks like. Uh, A3 size board with a plastic cover, laminated plastic cover. So that means you can write on the board using marker pen when you want to
Ah,
teach. And the cards also
mm,
I laminated using plastic cover.
mm,
Actually, my idea, doctor, the second idea was to turn all the cards or the board into magnetic, so they can paste that on the board and they learn.
exactly.
But my designer from KL, since pandemic, he
Mm,
asked for about 6 months to complete the design. So 6 months is quite long for me. So I
yes, yes.
postponed that idea. If not, it will be magnetic card. Can paste on the whiteboard and learn.
Mm. Do you
This is
test?
the
Do you
simple.
test? Sorry, Doctor. Sorry, Mr. Ramachandran. Do you test
Yeah.
them the understanding right after the game or what? Or how?
I give short quizzes. I give short quizzes, and after 2 weeks, I give a pre-test, a proper test.
Okay, all right.
During the short quizzes, the excellent student they perform definitely better than the average and weak students. But when we go to
Mm,
the pre-test,
mm,
the result definitely improve.
exactly.
Because
Yeah.
my concept is, doctor, the more you play the beginner level, the better you become.
Yeah, yeah.
And they find it very interesting because they learn the reaction, and we need to have facilitators during the game because
Yes.
they will be like playing only without learning anything. So we need facilitators beside them, and we
Mm,
will guide them. And
yeah,
normally
yeah.
my students, what they will do when they write the equation, they find difficulties, they immediately consult with me. Why the reaction is like
Exactly.
that? So I
It's
will teach them. Yeah. Yeah, doctor.
it's very interesting. It's very interesting.
Thank you, doctor.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so
doctor.
much. Thank you. Okay, that's
Thank you,
great.
Okay,
doctor. Thanks for
thank you, Mr. Ramachandran, for a very
yeah.
interesting
Thank you,
presentation.
doctor.
So now we will go on to our next presenter.
Thank
So
you,
we
doctor.
welcome Mrs. Suryana Lasaraya from the Preparatory Center for Science and Technology, University of Malaya Sabah. Sorry, University Malaysia Sabah, and the topic of her presentation is effectiveness of problem-based learning approach in mathematics subject among Form 2 and Form 3 students in SMK Usukan, Kota Belud. Please be invited, Mrs. Suryana.
Thank you very much, Dr. Islina. I start presenting first. Can everybody see my slide?
Yeah, we can see your slide.
I make it full screen.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, Assalamualaikum and a very good evening to everyone. Okay, so my name is Suryana binti Lasaraya. I am from Preparatory Center of Science and Technology, University Malaysia Sabah. So today I'm going to share about our study on the effectiveness of problem-based learning approach in mathematics subject among lower secondary students of SMK Usukan Kota Belud. Lower secondary school here is actually Form 1 and Form 2 students. So this is the outline. I will have my introduction, objective, and methodology procedure, data collection instrument, and the results and discussion where we are focusing on the effectiveness in teaching, learning, and communication and social skills among the students. Okay. So as for introduction, it has been a huge concern to the government as the number of students who decide to go for STEM related subject has declined since a few years back. At an average, there is a decrease about 6,000 students per year in Malaysia. So one of the efforts being done was the announcement of the campaign STEM for All with the aim to cultivate science culture among the students. And we work together with the schools and university as well. So as for the statistic in 2019, there is about 90% of the students coming from a total of 447,000 students who chose science stream. And the percentage itself shows a relatively small number of students all over Malaysia who have the awareness on the importance of STEM related subject. So due to this decline, so various agencies work intensive their efforts in order to create awareness of STEM related, beginning with the lower secondary level as what we do in PPST UMS. So this is among the efforts initiative introduced by the Ministry of Education that everyone know that they want to strengthen science, technology, engineering and mathematics. They introduce it in the Malaysian Education Development Plan to produce STEM literate students through integrated learning that applies in real life context with hands-on approach and open exploration. Okay, the aim of the STEM education initiative is to prepare students with the skill to meet the science and technology challenges and to ensure that Malaysia has sufficient a number of qualified STEM graduates in the future. So the educators such as teachers
Miss
and
Suryana,
lecturers, yeah.
can you minimize the MS Team tab on your screen? It's uh, it's on your slide.
Oh, it's getting bigger. Is
No,
it?
no, it's hindering your slide. The MS Team tab.
Which one? Which one, doctor?
There's the small tab at your right hand side. Can you minimize it so that we can see fully your screen, your presentation?
Uh, wait, doctor. It's too big.
No, the small screen on your right.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you can minimize the MS Team tab so that
Oh, that one.
your slide can be seen fully. Thank you.
This one, right?
Yes, yes.
Minimize. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Now, okay. Okay, so educators such as the teacher and lecturer play an important role to encourage the students to participate in STEM education related persistently. Okay, since some of the teachers are still in their exam-oriented approach like all style teaching and more to memorizing solution rather than teaching technique that emphasize critical thinking skills and creativity among the students. Okay, so as for the mathematics subject, standard learning process in mathematics consists of 5 content and it must be owned by the students themselves. This consists of number 1, problem solving, number 2, reasoning and proof, number 3, communication, connection, and lastly, representation. So as for the effective learning, is a learning technique that affect the students' mathematical skill, which is one of the problem solving abilities. So what we have in this module is to prepare to increase the awareness in STEM related subject among the students, among the lower secondary students in the school, especially for the SMK Usukan students that we choose for this program. And we are using problem-based learning module to attract the students' interest in STEM subject. So these are the objectives that we have. Basically, this is just a preliminary effect on the STEM PBL module on the student interest in learning STEM subject. And we want to investigate how is the effectiveness that the problem-based learning approach in terms of the students' understanding in learning, teaching, and promoting good social skills. So what we do in our methodology is that we design a module in specific by the mathematics lecturer, me and my friend, and together with several other STEM-based modules designed by other colleagues representing main subject areas, physics, chemistry, biology as well, which means that we have 4 different modules for these 4 different subjects. So as for mathematics only here, okay, to make it sound interesting to the young students, we name it as Da Vinci Code module. And we choose SMK Usukan Kota Belud, which is one of the school in the rural district where about 2 hours from Kota Kinabalu. Okay, we choose the school as our sample and to do the module that we have created. Okay, so this module is based on one of the topic taught in Form 1 Mathematics syllabus titled Number Pattern. Since our students that we choose is the students from Form 1 and Form 2 students only. Okay, so regardless of basic operation in mathematics such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, so these modules brings the students to the miracle in numbers known as the Fibonacci sequence and the golden ratio. So these are the 2 sub-activity in our module. So how many students we have is about 62 students. Combination of the Form 1 and Form 2, we combine them together in the module and participate. And what we do is the 62 students, we group them into about 9 to 10 students in a group. Okay, so for each group, the students will be facilitated by a facilitator. That facilitator is actually a lecturer from PPST itself. And we call the facilitator as a STEM warrior. And each of the module represent a different theme. Okay, STEM warrior is to create the fighting and competition spirit among the students when we are doing the module, the activities. Okay, so this is the logo for each module. Okay, the first one is algebros. So algebros is for mathematics module. The alchemist is for the chemistry module, and detective stranger is for physics, and botanist ninja is for biology. What we have during the module is that activity for each module, but then we choose 1 week. Like for example, in our activity here, we choose Friday. So that Friday is just for 1 module. And the following week, we will continue with the chemistry module. And the 3rd week for the physics, and lastly for the biology module. Okay, so this is one of the picture where the student is already divided by a group. For the morning time, they register first, then they will sit together in the group because we already divided them randomly. So they will be mixed with Form 1 and Form 2 students. So they a bit like shy, they don't know each other like that. Okay, and then one of the group will be each group will be facilitated by the facilitator. So this is the module, the activity we have. So basically, before we start the activity, there will be a short sharing introduction for the students, and most of the module we will give them a video so that they watch, so they will have the idea what are they going to learn for today. So this is for Fibonacci sequence. And then after the sharing for the introduction, then we will give them a problem statement. Then that problem statement, they will brainstorm it within their group only. Okay, they will discuss the activity within the group facilitated by the facilitator. Okay, so this is one of the picture that we want to show the students where we can find the Fibonacci sequence in their real life. All right. And this is the second activity in our mathematics module, which is the golden ratio. So this golden ratio is coming from the Fibonacci sequence. So from here, they will know that, oh, there is a golden ratio, and that golden ratio they can also find in their own body. They can calculate it from their own body, golden ratio. Okay, we will give them the measurement, the what we call this, the pita pengukur, that one, we will give them the material so that they will measure their own friend. This activity is done right before the pandemic COVID-19. Okay, a few months before the pandemic COVID-19. So we still have like, we didn't wear the mask here yet. Okay, so this is the activity of golden ratio. If you can see one of the facilitator down there helping the students within their group members. Okay, so this is the general flowchart of the module. We start and we have the introduction, problem statement, brainstorming, and presentation. That presentation for both activities, one activity they will present within the group only, and the second activity they will present in front of the whole students. Okay, then after the presentation they come back to their own group and they have like sharing with the facilitator about the career development. What is the career coming from this topic? Like for example, the golden ratio, we focus on the future career in engineering, and then the activity, and we give evaluation to them, which is the questionnaire. That questionnaire, and we do some reflection in a group, then we end the module. So this is the result, and this,
Miss Suriana,
yeah,
you have 5 minutes left of your
okay,
presentation.
okay, doctor. So this is the result that we have. What we give the students in the questionnaire is there is 9 questions because the questionnaire was adapted from the study of Luo et al. In 2017, where the students were required to answer 9 questions in a 6-point Likert scale, and the ascending scale was represented. There is 6 choice: strongly disagree, disagree, moderately disagree, moderately agree, agree, and strongly disagree. And we do the analysis by using SPSS. It is just a basic SPSS calculation, because we just focusing on the mean and standard deviation, and we compare the results. So the results is focusing on 3 different aspects, where it is about the effectiveness of teaching, learning, and communication and social skill. So first we look at the teaching. So the teaching is measured based on the question number 1 and question number 2. This is a short and attractive introduction in the beginning of the module to manifest the feeling of curiosity among the students. So on average, the ability of the facilitator to manifest the two-way interaction, because they have like sharing within the group. Okay, the facilitator is encourage the students to ask question and share what did they think about the problem given to them. So from the result that we have, it shows a positive feedback. Okay, this is the analysis, the mean and standard deviation. Okay, 5.55 for the interaction between the warriors as the facilitator and students. And the second question is the warrior offered a discussion opportunity. Okay, so this is the result. And second one is the in terms of learning, and it is measured based on the question 3, 4, 7, and 9. So what we can have here is that the result we obtain from the analysis shows that it has attracted the students to get to know more in the topic discussed, as well as to motivate the students to discover mathematics in depth. So this is the result that we have. Okay, as I say just now, it's just a basic description analysis, a descriptive statistic, basic analysis, mean and standard deviation. and the communication and social skills is based on the question 5, 6 and 8. Okay, it shows that this module gives a good indication towards the communication and social skills among the students. Why we say like that? Because initially the students is a bit reluctant and slow in response, but as times goes on, like when they are doing their activities, slowly they communicate to each other and they find the solution and solve the problem given to them together within the group. Okay, so this is the mean score. It is mostly about 6. Okay, mostly agreed with what we ask here. Okay, so based on the module, okay, we can say that as the preliminary study, we can say that this module is succeed in the encourage of thinking skill, critically and creative in handling tasks given in the group. All right, so directly enhance their knowledge of the discussed topic, especially in the STEM subject. In this case, is the mathematics subject. And the module promotes the self-confidence among the students. Why we say here? Because they have the ability to present their result within everybody. There are about more than 50 students in front of them to share what they learn in the module, and we try to create a positive mindset towards learning mathematics in school, so we motivate them to study smart. And then lastly, we enhance their communication skill and promote teamwork. Okay, so as for conclusion, this is a preliminary result obtained from the first part, the first version 1.0, and further study are in plan actually, but because of the COVID, we can't do the STEM ounce warrior version 2.0. Actually, we are planning to do it last year. We are planning to do it with the same students. We want to see the students from Form 2. Last year, they are going up to Form 3. We want to see whether the students are choosing science stream when they are going for their Form 4. That is our focus. We want to increase the number of students to choose science stream during their high school. Thank you. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Miss Suryana. Okay, I'll
Yeah.
open up the floor. Is there any question from the audience to Miss Suryana? Any questions? Please raise your hand so that the technical team can unmute you. Any questions from the audience? Any questions? Okay, if there is no question, thank you again, Miss
Thank you
Suryana.
very much. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now we will go to our third presenter. Okay, our third presenter is Dr. Mazdida Sulaiman, a chemistry lecturer from the Center for Foundation Studies in Science, University of Malaya. And her presentation will be on the efficacy of quiz activity as a formative assessment tool for chemistry subject. Please be invited, Dr. Mazdida.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Izlina. Can you see the slides?
Waiting for it.
Okay, can you see the slides?
Hold on, check. I can't see the slide.
Oh.
I think you can unshare it first and share it again. Okay, now I can see your slide.
Okay,
Okay,
Alhamdulillah.
can you do it full screen, Dr. Masdida?
Full screen.
Yep.
Okay, so is it in the
Okay.
full screen right now?
Yeah, it's in the full screen mode. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Izlina. So, selamat petang. Assalamualaikum. My name is Dr. Masdida Sulaiman. I am from Chemistry Division of the Center for Foundation Studies in Science, or Pusat Asasi Sains, University Malaya. So, for this afternoon, I just would like to share some information of the quiz activity that we have done just, I think, 1 month ago for the formative assessment towards our students in the chemistry subject. Okay, these are the team members. They are Dr. Nur Shafiza, Dr. Ahmad Daniel, Encik Muhammad Helmi, and Encik Muhammad Rozi. So these are the people that involved in the making the questions. Yeah. So let us read a while for the abstract. So previously, a conventional method, what is the conventional method? Long answer questions and short answer questions of formative assessment is common in assessing our students in chemistry subject. Yeah? However, due to the pandemic COVID-19, we have to change the mode to quiz tool by using the Moodle's platform, or in University Malaya, it is known as Spectrum. Yeah. So the aim of the study is to compare the quiz activity with the conventional method of evaluation. So chemistry is a prerequisite subject for the entrance for the medicine school, dentistry, nursing, allied health, science, pharmacy, engineering, and so on. Yeah, it is a very the basic prerequisite subject in order to enter those schools, and they must have a strong pass for this subject. So in PASOM, the chemistry subject assessment is divided into two for each semester. One is a summative, that is 50%, and the other component is formative assessment, that is also 50%. So altogether is 100%. So usually for the past 30 years in PASOM, we have conducted the exam using the conventional method, that is the short answer and the long answer ataupun of questions, or in a form of essay. Yeah, but due to the pandemic, so we have to decide how to run the assessment, the formative assessment at the end of the semester. So let us look at the conventional method. It is run at the end of the semester, conducted face-to-face before the pandemic, face-to-face online, and it is was conducted in the big hall and with full invigilation. Yeah, but due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we have to decide how to handle the formative assessment. So the head of the school have decided, we have a discussion, and at the end we have decided to have this quiz tool as part of the formative assessment. So it ended up with 30% of the quiz activity and 20% of the conventional method. Yeah, and this quiz assessment tool is conducted by using the model platform, or in it is known as Spectrum, conducted online, and at the same environment is at the end of the semester, but the difference is it has to be conducted at home, ataupun if they are at the college, they have to do it in the college. Yeah, and full invigilation is a question mark whether the one that we have done is sufficient enough or not, but we have tried our best to do the full invigilation in order to avoid the cheatness during the exams. Yeah, and the question now, because this is a new thing for us, the question now is the quiz tool is significant for formative assessment? And if it is yes, is the quiz effective or not? Yeah, ataupun is this quiz effective enough to assess the students? All right. So due to the uncertainty, no matter what, we have to try a new method, that is the quiz tool. So what is a quiz formative assessment? Yeah. So summative assessment is better to test with an exam because you are testing what students have learned during the entire instruction. Yeah. And the formative assessment measures small parts of the instruction. And according to the author, because I quote this from this article, according to the author, quizzes are a good way to test that. Yeah. So maknanya according to this author, it's better to test by using the quizzes too. So I make a literature review to see whether this quiz tool is significant as a formative assessment. And I've discovered from the literature search by using the Google search and also the Scopus platform. Yeah, so we discovered that in 2012 it has been implemented. Yeah, the quiz activity has been implemented for the formative assessment at the University of Glasgow in Scotland. Yeah. Yes, this is a tool for their formative assessment for the medic students. Followed by in 2014, the quiz tool is also used as a formative assessment in a business school somewhere in India. 2016, also this online quiz is used as a formative assessment. This is somewhere in the world. 2019, yeah, it also has been implemented by the University of Warwick. 2020, also implemented by the medical school, yeah, where they use this online quiz as a formative assessment for their medic students. And recently, 2021 in Germany, also the method has been used as a tool for the formative assessment for their students. This is for the students under the Department of Psychology. Yeah, of course there is pros and cons when you use this tool. Yeah, but there is always a room for improvement for that. Yeah. So from this finding, I should say that the quiz tool, is significant to be used as the formative assessment for the students. Yeah. So if you look at this, there is still disadvantages of using this assessment. For example, if you look at this university from Germany, yeah, it says that online quizzes are economic and objective method for formative assessment. However, closed question, because one of the activity of this quiz is the closed questions, have been criticized for promotion, shallow learning, and resulting often in poor learning outcomes. Yeah? But they do not give up. They use their creativity to overcome the disadvantages. Yeah? So even though there is some orang kata bad side, they still try to overcome in order to use these tools. Yeah. So jadi if the quiz tool significant, I should say yes, this tool is significant as a formative assessment. Yeah. Which has been implemented all over the world. Especially if I look at more of the literature, it has been implemented by the medic schools. Okay, engineering pun ada. Engineering pun ada juga guna formative quiz as the formative assessment. Okay, so it is significant to use this tool, but I'm not sure about the percentage of this component. Yeah? Is it 100% as a formative assessment or with some percentage? I'm not sure. Yeah? Okay, now we go back to PASOM. So it is so we know that this quiz is significant to be used. Now the question is this tool effective among the to be implemented as the formative assessment or not? Yeah. So for here, we made a comparison. Yeah? So the objective of this study is to make the comparison, the effectiveness of the quiz among our pre-university students on the chemistry subject. Yeah? So as the formative assessment is divided into two components. We have the quiz components, which conducted online, as well as the conventional components, which is also conducted online. Yeah. The difference is that the conventional, yes, we provide questions in order the students to answer writtenly. Yeah, the question could be long question or could be a short question. Yeah, so unlike the quiz, we have multiple choice questions and embedded type of questions into the quiz activity. So let us look at the result of these studies. Okay, the method. Yeah, this method is adapted from Nectar and Mokasi, the authors, of the efficacy of multiple choice questions as a tool for formative assessment. They do have the same problem, yeah, whether the tool is effective or not to be used as formative assessment, and they have conducted this in their for their medic students. It is in 2015 in India. Yeah. So the method is adapted from this journal article. So number one, the study was conducted online at the chemistry division, and it is part of the course examination for the subject of FAD 1008 or chemistry 4 for the 2020-21 batch of students. In this examination, the students are divided into 3 batches: batch 1, batch 2, and batch 3. But for these studies, we only take randomly. Then we have decided that to study on the batch 3 group, yeah, of the pre-university students at Pusat Asasi Science, where they took both methods, the quiz and the conventional methods. Analysis of the
Dr.
study.
Masida,
Yes.
we have 5 minutes left of your
Ah,
presentation time. Thank
okay.
you.
Thank you. And this study is only on the quantitative analysis, and the post-validation was done by item analysis via facility index. Let us look at the finding, the results. Yeah. Okay, in terms of, this is the result number one, in terms of the average percentage marks, we found that the quiz, the average percentage marks of the quiz is 62% only compared to the conventional method. So what can we deduce from this result? Altogether in the quiz, there are 20 questions given, and from this 62%, we can say that only 62% of the questions are answered correctly. Yeah, so it is what we can say, that this method is so-so and is not popular, and it needs to be improved. Yeah, in order to implement this quiz. And finding, okay, this average of marks can be obtained from the spectrum. Yeah, it's either you do manually or you get straight away from the spectrum. And the findings of the number two, it is in terms of the student score. For this quiz method, only 33.8 students of the students get the high score. Yeah, compared to the conventional method. So again, here we said that the quiz tool is so-so. Yeah, we will see why it is so-so. But only 33.8 students get the high score, yeah, compared to the conventional, where the percentage of passing of the students with the high score is 73.6. And the third finding is the item analysis. Yeah, this is the facility index, is divided into 3. If the facility index is more than 70%, the question is said to be easy. If it is in the range of 30 to 70%, the questions are said to be acceptable. And if the question is less than 30%, the facility index, the question is said to be difficult. Yeah, so this is the scale. And let us look at the result from our PASOM students. It is discovered that 35% of the question is said to be easy. Yeah, it falls under range of more than 70%. Yeah, and 60% of the questions are acceptable, where it falls under the range of 30 to 70%. And 5%, yeah, of the questions is said to be very difficult question. But in terms of number, out of 20 questions given for the quiz, only one question is considered as a very difficult question. So yet, yeah, in overall, 12 questions plus 7 questions, out of these 20 questions, we can say that the questions are not that bad. Yeah? But still, number of students get the high score is 33.8% using this quiz tool. Yeah, so here we can conclude that more exercise need to be conducted by the must be conducted by the students. Yeah, and these are the item analysis. Yeah, this is an example of easy questions, yeah, where the facility index is 84.85%. Yeah, most of the students can answer this type of questions. It's very direct. Just apply the formula. This is an example of another example which considered as very easy question. It's a straightforward question. This is an example of acceptable question where they need to do some analytical thinking in order to get the correct answer. And this is according to the students' difficult question. Okay, if you look at the facility index is 8.4%, meaning that most of the students, they could not answer this type of question. Yeah. Okay, so further studies must be made in order to know why this quiz tool is not so popular. Yeah, this is one of the student where get almost all correct except this part of question 11, question 13, and question 14. This is the embedded type of question. Ya, sikit saja lagi dia ada sikit error saja. Sebenarnya dia boleh dapat penuh, ya, markah penuh. Tapi hanya dia saja, yang lain semua dapat banyak salah, ya.
Okay, Dr. Masdida, your time is up.
Okay, all right. Okay, so these are the activities that can be done, yeah, for the quiz type of tool. Yeah. So in conclusion, okay, let me conclude. For the instructors, it should be conducted often in the entire semester, especially during the tutorial activity. We have to explore more on the activities of the quiz in the spectrum. We have also, I suggest that we link with other faculties, whether they use this type of tool as a formative assessment. And due to the COVID-19 uncertainty, so I propose that this quiz should be implemented 100% as the formative assessment. And if there is any advantages, we have to use creativity in order to overcome the disadvantages. And as the students part, they must be given chance to attempt the quiz as many as possible with the immediate feedback. Okay, so that's all. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Masdida, for an informative presentation. So we'll open up our Q&A session. So, okay, a soft reminder to all participants, can you please kindly raise your hand to pose your question so that the technical team can unmute you? Okay, is there any question from the audience? Any questions?
I think there are two.
Okay, there are two questions. One coming from Mr. Ramachandran. Dipersilakan, Mr. Ramachandran.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. Hi, Dr. Maziza.
Hello, Mr. Ramachandran.
I was a bit curious about this assessment. Doctor, I just
Yes.
want to ask opinion, actually. It's not a question, ask opinion only from Doctor. Since the facility index shows that the number of questions acceptable is higher percentage, if I'm not mistaken, 60%, why Doctor think the performance of students is not good as the conventional method? Because if I'm not mistaken, the facility index shows only 60% is acceptable range of questions, right? But still, when Doctor put the statistic in the histogram, I saw that the performance of student is much better in the conventional method rather than this assessment quiz activity. In your opinion, Doctor, why such the result is so?
You mean why the students get more scores in the conventional method? Is that what your
Yes, they
question
get more
is?
scores. Yes, more on the conventional method. Even though the facility index shows the questions are acceptable, it's more higher percentage.
Yes, I think it's because they are not familiar with this quiz tool, because we just implement this twice, the last batch and this current batch. Previously, for about 30 years, we have implementing the conventional method. So they don't have any models in order to answer the question by using this tool. So it's a new thing for them, and it's a new thing for us. But luckily luckily that this component is only 30%. It's not 50%. Entire
of the coursework marks, is it?
Yes.
Okay,
But
Doctor, one more thing, since from this one,
yes.
sorry, Doctor, just one more thing.
It's okay.
In your opinion, doctor, if let's say we want to do quiz activities online, I'm quite sure this is online, how do we want to avoid our students from copying with each other? We don't want
This is
plagiarism from them.
this is this is an issue that we have to encounter, right?
Yeah.
Previously, for the first batch, we do not monitor their activities behind when they do the quiz
Okay.
activity. But for this batch, they were asked to on their camera.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
yes, and we have some, all the stuff involved in order to monitor them. All of them, they must on their camera. If they, let's say they did not on the camera, they are actually considered disqualified. So this is the
This is
only thing
some
that we can do
something
so
like
far.
this is something like a Google certified educator exam, doctor.
Yes,
Google
yes,
certified, they
yes,
do the same thing.
yes.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you very much for your information. Thank you.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you.
Okay, we have another question from Dr. Farida.
Hello, Dr. Farida.
Okay,
My
Assalamualaikum,
voice.
Dr. Mazida.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah.
I'm just want to ask you one question. When you made a comparison about the conventional and the quiz, is it the same question come from the quiz and the conventional, or you make a different question for both methods?
No, no, no. The questions come exactly from the exam questions. I just make comparison on the marks obtained.
What I mean is, for example, for the conventional, if what you shows in your slide, there is a long question, isn't it?
Yes.
How you can make it as simple as the quiz, which the question is similar to the conventional.
This is unavoided because conventional, the way you design is such a way, long question and short question. That is conventional. But as for the quiz, we have to abide the system. Okay, so in the quiz, actually, we have many activities. Yeah, for example, the MCQ that we run, MCQ and the short answer, embedded short answer. This is what we implemented in our quiz. So we have to abide this system. So there is no way that we can implement that conventional into the quiz unless we take this essay type of activity. Yeah, but according to the ADAC, yeah, this is from the ADAC, there are currently 15 question types available for the quiz, but only one is all automatic mark except for essay. Essay must be done manually. Yeah. So in order to answer a question, in order to adapt that conventional to be put in the quiz type, we can't make it unless we apply this essay type of activity into the quiz. Tapi kena mark sendirilah. Yang lain semua automatic.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Mazdida, for the answer. Okay, we have another question from Miss Tan Li Wei.
Hello, Miss Tan.
Hi, doctor.
Hello.
Yes. So, in other words, to say that, so this quiz actually is an online quiz where the students cannot refer to the books or any through the Google searching or something like that. And then how about the time? Since this is I think is a examination, just that the is a quiz. So the time also will be allocated for 30 minutes or 15 minutes or something like that, right? And then another question is for the questions. Just now doctor mentioned about the acceptable, easy, and also difficult. So in terms of the question, what kind of a level of thinking is this also? Okay, sorry, my son. Is this also adopt the HOTS higher order thinking skills based on their in order to set up the questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, to answer the question number one, we can't control whether they can do Google or not. All right, but we have to set a rule that cheating is not allowed. So that is their responsibility to abide the rule. If they did not follow the rule, that is what we say is between them and God. But we have tried our best. The rule is there. You have to abide the rule. If they cheat, then for me, it is between them and God. All right. Okay. Number two, the question was apa tadi? Lupa dah. Can you please repeat again the question number two?
Yeah. My question is in order to set up the questions, is it based on the level of thinking? Because we have the higher order thinking skills according to
Yes.
the Bland taxonomy. So I
Yes.
just want yeah.
Okay, for that type of question, in my opinion, you can ask that type of question in the summative assessment. Yeah, the good point of this formative assessment, by using this quiz, you can implement that. You can implement that hot order or high order thinking of type of questions. You can implement that, but the thing is that you cannot see their working. But from this quiz tool, you can see whether they fully understand or not the lesson that we have taught throughout the semester. You can analyze that very quickly. Yeah, but if you want to see the way the what we said, the working, it's better that you ask them during the summative assessment. And the question
Okay,
number three, is that
Okay, thank you.
I
okay?
I think we have to cut short.
Okay,
We have
right.
to have the presentation from our last presenter.
Okay.
So we'll go to our last presenter. Our last presenter for this session is Dr. Nur Jahan Ahmad from the School of Educational Studies, University Science Malaysia. And her presentation will be on the persistence and attrition in STEM majors, university support, and gender equality. Dipersilakan, Dr. Nur Jahan.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and very good afternoon. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
Okay, so I will share my presentation. Okay, can all of you see my presentation?
Yes, we can see your presentation.
Okay, so the title of my presentation is Persistent and Attrition in STEM Majors, looking at university support and gender equality. So I'm Nur Jahan from School of Educational Studies, USM, and my co-researcher, Ms. Siti Nur Fazila, and also Professor John Leach. My study will be more about the baseline studies where I gather information. So I do not have any intervention. Okay, so I think it will be probably short and sweet. Okay. Uh, so, uh, as all we all know, okay, the future growth on STEMs nowadays are projected on STEM-related fields, and STEM fields are also viewed as important in for global economy development, also for the well-being of the society. If you look at the Malaysian statistic, STEM jobs also listed as producing economy for the country. They are mining, agriculture, and manufacturing. Okay, so these are listed as the income generation for our country. And for others, we also have defense, healthcare, finance, also in government, weather forecasting, and even in the digital arts and musics. Okay, so all require professional in STEM fields. And but the thing is, the involvement in the STEM related careers still at very minimum, and even in Malaysia we have a shortage of STEM professionals. So there are some factors that influence student views towards STEM careers. Okay, of course, involve motivation, experience, whether uh, someone in the families in STEM related workforce, and also in terms of their self-efficacy, where they want to have high-end jobs or high-skill job. Yeah. Okay. The selection of career, of course, we want to have very good high salary. Okay, and then there are many factors for student selections of majors at universities. Okay, of course, the future earnings, for example, after graduation, being engineer or being a doctor or being a pharmacist. Okay, so they view this as having a good salary, and the selection at the university also based on the university ranking. Okay, so they want some of the students, they want to have at least the university among the top 10 in the country. Okay, and they are also looking at the university support, the environment, and probably the advisory committee that university can offer. As we all know, STEM majors like engineering fields or medicine, okay, they are more expensive. Okay, more expensive than humanities or social sciences. Okay, so as this paper looking at gender equality and university support, I just would like to highlight about gender equality and STEM careers, where, well, gender is still dominant in the society because it influence our social relationship, giving us identities, and there is still gender equality in social and economic institutions. Okay, if we look at the Sustainable Development Goals, number 5, gender inequalities still exist in the community, where we still have women probably have to endure occupational segregation or the salary disparities, and also lack of access to acceptable jobs. And even in the progressive societies, a STEM career is still dominated by men, and we are still segregated in the workforce. In terms of university support and STEM careers, the university support actually influence students' views on STEM careers. Okay, from their initial phase of admission and probably advisory team, and also the relationship with the students and the administration, things like that. So from time to time, the students, they should get correct viewpoints of the prospective benefits of their majors. Okay, so the supports that they receive from the university, not just the physical support like the infrastructure or the labs or the environment, but also the psychosocial learning environment. Okay, so where they can get the support from the administrators, from their counselors or advisors. Okay. Alright, so the objectives of our study to investigate the relationship of gender equality and university supports among diploma, undergraduate, and postgraduate students on 3 areas, which is their views on STEM careers, persistence in STEM majors, and also attrition in STEM majors. Right. So I have 6 research objectives. Just to summarize, the first, to investigate whether gender equality positively affects these 3 groups on their views on STEM careers. To investigate whether university support positively affects these 3 groups on their views on STEM careers. To determine whether gender equality positively affects these 3 groups on students' attritions in STEM majors. To determine whether the university support positively affects these 3 groups' attrition in STEM majors, and then to determine whether gender equality positively affects these 3 groups on their persistence in STEM majors, and finally to determine whether the university support positively affects these 3 groups in their persistence in STEM majors. Okay, so this hypothesis is developed. Okay, it's similar to the research objective, just to see whether gender and university support positively affects the STEM careers, their views on STEM careers, on persistence, and also on attrition. So a quantitative cross-sectional study was employed where stratified sampling was done, and it's very difficult to get samples or respondents. Okay, initially we targeted 300 students. It's still ongoing, and we are hoping that to get 300 students. But for now, we have 130 students, where 77 males and 53 females, aged from 18 to 40, because it's from diploma to PhD level. And most of the students, they are majoring in civil engineering, mechanical, electrical, and also other technical majors like computer engineering, etc. And this study involved instrument that was adapted from the questionnaire STEM Career Interest Survey by Keir Blanket, Osborne, and Albert, 2014. So the question have quantitative and also open-ended responses. So the results for the gender equality and student views on STEM careers. So the results show that gender equality did positively affect diploma, undergraduate, and postgraduate student views on STEM careers. So meaning that students, they perceive gender equality to play a significant role in STEM careers. Meaning that if male and female are being equal, okay, and treated equally, so it's not a problem. So they will accept either male or female. So they will accept if the gender equality persists. Okay. However, we do have respondents, even though uh, they want to stay in the engineering profession, but they mentioned that they prefer teaching career, okay, rather than going to the field. Okay, but because they still feel engineering line would offer higher salary. Okay, this is based on the views from the students who has at least one parent work at the university. Okay, and for the result, gender equality and student persistence in STEM majors. So the result shows that the gender equality positively affects the students' persistent in STEM majors. Okay, meaning that gender equality plays important role to retain STEM majors. Okay, so from the data, about 44 female participants, they mentioned that they did not have trouble and they are fully supported by the faculty and their male peers, but they are not comfortable if they were given special treatment like women's first. Okay, so it's very crucial to perceive genders as equal, to ensure both genders have equal opportunity to excel in STEM majors at the university. Okay, so if there is gender equality in the university, so they can persist in STEM majors. Okay, for the
Dr. Nurjahan, you have 5 minutes left of
okay,
your
I will try
presentation.
to wrap. Yeah, I will wrap up. Yeah. Okay.
All right, thank you.
So for the university support and persistence, it is positively affects students' persistence, meaning that the institutional conditions like the quality of academic program, the faculty, the advisors, they are influencing students' persistence. So meaning that it's very important for the university to support everything, to support the students for them to persist in STEM majors. Okay, this one is for the university support and student views. It doesn't really affect the students, meaning that for them, the data, because once they enter the engineering fields, okay, so they have decided that, okay, this is the fields that they want to pursue and they want to work after their graduation. So university support did not have any effect on their views. Okay. And for the gender equality and student attrition, it did not positively affect because for them, gender equality doesn't play a role for student attrition. Okay. But usually they will follow their peers or their friends. Okay. And then if they want to retain or they want to drop the majors, so gender equality doesn't play the role. Okay, and the last result is the university support did not positively affect students' attrition. So meaning that the university support also did not influence students' decision in dropping their majors, and also because the university policy is very difficult for them to drop their majors, okay, because some of them they have loan, they cannot change their major, so uh, so it doesn't really affect students' attrition. Okay, so I come to the conclusion. So the all these three levels of students, they view engineering as very significant career, okay, and they view that gender equality did influence their views in STEM careers and their persistence in STEM majors, and also they feel that university support play a major role in their persistence. But they feel that university support did not influence their views on STEM careers or attrition, and also they feel that gender equality did not influence their attrition in STEM majors. Okay, thank you. So any question can email me, jahan@usm.my.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Nur Jahan, for an interesting presentation. Okay, last but not least, I'll open up the last Q&A session. If there is any question from the for the presenter from the audience, please raise your hand. Any question? Or you can personally email to Dr. Nur Jahan. She has given her your email, the email, so you can personally email the question to her. Okay, thank you,
Okay,
Dr. Nur Jahan. Thank
thank
you very
you.
much. Okay, with that, we have come to the end of our second parallel session. To all presenters, can you all kindly please join the technical talk presented by the Guidewire Software Company in room 1 before adjourning to our STEM webinar closing ceremony. So thank you again to all presenters for your participation, and Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi. Terima kasih.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you. Thank you.